Hey guys, Shane here. Today we're going to go through a stretching series that you can perform after working out. Obviously not as important as doing our mobility work, but some people can still find some benefit from doing some flexibility work. Okay, we're going to hold each position for 30 seconds. Our first stretch is a seated glute stretch. So I have my right leg crossed across my body. I'm grabbing it mainly with my left arm, pulling it nice and tight to my chest, and just stay seated up tall, breathing deeply throughout. Next stretch we're going to move into is a seated glute stretch on the same side, so it's good to hit this stretch from various angles on each muscle. So I'm lying down flat onto my back now, keeping the ankle where it is, reach through the gap in the middle and grab the front of the far knee. So that's my left knee at the moment. Again, deep breathing in and out, just feeling that stretch in the right glute. Okay, let's sit up and switch sides. So left leg across, grabbing it mainly with the right arm, pulling it nice and tight into my chest, back into our seated glute stretch. Okay guys, let's lie back down. We're going into our supine glute stretch now for our left leg. So I reach through the gap in the middle, grab the front of the right knee, pull it nice and tight up into my chest, deep breathing in and out. Let's sit up from there. We're going to go into a half kneeling position now, so we're in the bottom of a lunge. I'm on my toes on the rear foot, so my toes are planted firmly into the floor, drive my hips forward and I'm keeping my chest down slightly. So I'm not reaching overhead or hyperextending my back or anything like that, I'm just stretching out my hip flexor. Deep breathing in and out the whole time, and I have that front foot rooted firmly in the ground so the front knee isn't caving in. From there I'm going to try grab the rear ankle if I can, and I'm moving into more of a half kneeling quad stretch now, so you should be feeling this a little bit lower down the quad rather than high up in the hip. If you can't get into this position, that's fine, you can just stay in the stretch you're already in. And obviously you can do it beside a wall or any sort of apparatus that you need to hold on to for an extra bit of support and balance. Okay, we're going to drop the hands to the floor now and going to lift the hips up, trying to straighten both legs if we can, stretching out our hamstrings on the front leg and our calf on the rear foot. You can play around with the way your hips are rotated here. You will feel it better in certain positions as we're all built differently. Relax breathing the whole time. Let's drop down from there. Leg that's in front, same side elbow reaches down to the floor as far as you can, stretching out our hip on the front leg. So mainly in the groin. If you can't reach the floor, don't worry about it, just stay reaching as far as you can, really deep breathing in and out. So every time you take a full exhale, you should be aiming to reach further down to the floor. You'll notice I'm still on the balls of my toes on the rear foot, so I'm keeping tension through that whole leg. Let's pop up from there and go back into our half kneeling position on the opposite side. We're just back to our half kneeling hip flexor stretch. So I'm basically in the bottom of a lunge, planting my toes firmly on the rear foot, driving the hips forward from there, keeping the chest down slightly. Okay, let's try grab that ankle on the rear foot again and drive the hips forward from there, back into our quad stretch. Leaning forward slightly the whole time with the upper body, so I'm not hyperextending my lower back. And again, if you can't grab the ankle, you can just stay in the same stretch we were already in, with the foot on the floor. Foot drops, hands drop, hips lift, trying to straighten both legs. Again, you can play around with the way your hips are rotated here. You'll feel it better in certain positions. You should be feeling it on the hamstring on the front leg and the calf on the rear leg. Let's drop that rear knee back to the floor while staying on the toes and reach with the front side elbow down to the floor as far as we can, breathing deeply in and out the whole time. Let's pop up from there. We're going to move into the top of a push-up position now. Hands and feet stay planted in place, arms and legs stay straight, and we drive the hips up to the ceiling into our downward dog stretch. So mainly stretching out the calves and the hamstrings. Really deep breathing in and out now the whole time. If you can't have your heels to the floor, that's fine. That's just what you're aiming to get. A straight line from hips to heels and from hips to hands. Let's drop down onto our knees now, sit back onto our heels. We're just moving into our lat stretch. We're trying to walk our hands forward while keeping our hips on our heels. Really deep breathing in and out the whole time. We're trying to fill our stomach up with air and then exhale fully. Rather than breathing up high into the chest, you're trying to use your stomach to do all the breathing. So diaphragmatic breathing. We're going to walk our hands across to the left hand side now, and that's going to emphasize our right lat. Again, deep diaphragmatic breathing in and out through your stomach, nice and slowly. Let's walk the hands across to the opposite side now, so across to the right hand side, and that's emphasizing our left lat. We stay seated back on our heels the whole time. Okay, let's come up off our heels, spread our knees as wide apart as we possibly can, feet are out wide too in line with our knees, and we're going to push our hips back towards our heels now for a fairly intense grind stretch. You can also do this down on your forearms if you want. Really pushing those hips back as far as you can, relax breathing, don't force anything too far. Let's relax forward from there now. Kneeling down, one arm behind the head, grab the elbow, push it down. Try not to let the lower back arch up too much. Again, deep breathing in and out the whole time. Switching sides, moving into our last stretch, the tricep stretch on the opposite side. So passive stretching like this does have uses in some situations. Obviously it's never going to be proper mobility work, but it can be quite useful for winding down after a long stressful day, especially if you make use of the deep diaphragmatic breathing throughout the whole thing. Okay. Also, if anybody likes to practice mindfulness or meditation, stretching is a good tool to kind of mix into that. Okay guys, that's the series done. I hope you enjoyed it. Keep an eye out on the page for more. Thanks.